happening right now. Kilauea volcano on the Big Island is erupting again. This is video from earlier today. You can see all those fountains and rivers of lava at Halemaumau crater. Madam Pele putting on quite a show there.
It is beautiful. And take a look at this. This is the exact moment that the volcano erupted. It all started pitch black before an explosion of light there bursting through the floor. That fountain of lava around 4:45 this morning, marking the first eruption in 3 months. And right now the eruption is contained to the summit area and there's no threat to the public.
Lots of people are heading to the Big Island, excited to check out the lava. We're taking a live look right now at Halemaumau crater, where the eruption has calmed down a bit from earlier today, but you can still see those spots of active lava and that steam and ash coming from the crater floor.
And we have live team coverage this afternoon for this latest Kilauea eruption. KITV4 meteorologist Pete Caggiano and Paul Drews joining us live with what experts can expect next for the volcano and how the eruption is impacting the air quality. And
KITV4's Aali Duklo joins us live from Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, where people there are so excited. Lots of folks visiting the park today.
But first, we head to KITV4's Big Island Bureau Chief Jeremy Lee, who is standing by live.
Jeremy, what's going on with Kilauea right now?
Well, I've learned to describe what's just over my shoulder here, which are the gas emissions which are coming up. You can see very prominently from behind me here at Halemaumau caldera. Now, since early this morning, the question I have been is, where does this fit on the scale of things? Of course, Kilauea was active until March and then suddenly went quiet. What does this mean? What I was told this morning on a phone call from U.S. Geological Survey is that this is a new eruption. There are new vents. And here to talk with me a little bit more is Dave Phillips of USGS, and he'll come right in and kind of answer that question. What is this like scale-wise? Do we know yet, or will it take some time?
That's a very good question. What we can say is that it's very similar to the recent eruptions that we've had here within Halemaumau, like the one you just mentioned that started this past January and lasted through March, and the one before that. We've had 3. This is the 4th one since December of 2020. What we did notice this morning that was a little different is that the lava effusion rate seemed to be higher for this one. Not dramatically so, but different enough that we're still looking into that. Yeah.
And, the diffusion rate. I mean, tell us what that means. So how does this differ than what things looked like in March?
Okay, good question. So the effusion rate is basically how much of the lava is coming out onto the surface. So the effusion rate will determine like how big the lava flows are, how fast they're coming, how high the fountains are when they come out, things of that nature. With all of the eruptions that we've seen out here, it typically starts very high. This morning, some of the preliminary estimates were a few thousand cubic meters per second, cubic yards per second, which, if that turns out to be true, is a little bit higher than some of the previous ones. What we expect, though, is this to go down to the hundreds of cubic meters per second as the eruption goes on and stabilizes.
So, in other words, that it would decrease in activity?
Yes, if it follows the pattern of the other recent eruptions up here, we'll have a lot of activity today and tomorrow in the first couple of days, and then we see the amount of lava coming out will start to stabilize. The amount of gas emissions coming out will start to stabilize as the system gets into its current eruption routine.
And I just said new vents. What does that mean specifically? In other words, that's what I was told, that this is a new event in some ways.
Yes, there are different ways you can categorize eruptions. We've been referring to each one of these events as separate eruptions, partly for clarity. So what happened then is that, like you said, since March, there has been no red lava visible on the surface. Whether that's a pause or a stop between eruptions, some people still debate that. But the reality is no lava since March. 4:44 a.m. this morning, lava came out. It came out of fissures, cracks that opened in the ground. Also in this case, a crack that opened up on the side of Halemaumau. And so lava came out, and they were vents. And so we call it a vent, and it's just like lava shooting out of the ground.
But to be clear, it's been confined to the caldera and hasn't erupted in the sides.
It is erupting, but it's completely within Halemaumau crater. So that's a really good point to emphasize, is that all of the activity, the lava, the earthquakes, it's all centered right here in Halemaumau, and there is no direct threat to any population or property at this time.
There we go. Dave Phillips of USGS. I'm going to just move in here and send it back to y'all in the studio. You heard it here, confined to Halemaumau crater, so that is the good news here at Volcanoes National Park. Reporting live, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.